Christiansen on. This is for Cole or Elijah. Their quarterback, Love, had a good game today. Their running back core was solid across the board. Was there anything different or anything that surprised you in terms of their offensive output today or what you expected to see from them?
I think they did exactly what we thought they were going to try to do. We knew that they were averaging like 300-plus yards passing a game. They do have good running backs, but they definitely rely on Love throwing the ball all over the place. And we knew that he was going to do that, or try to do that, and he made some good throws.
Yeah, Christian, when you went into the game, was there anything that Calvin or Jabari said to you to get you motivated to go out there?
I came in right after Kelvin got hurt, so I didn't really talk to him. Right after he got hurt, I just tried to get some snaps, get ready to go into the game, get my head ready. It was really just the whole team, really getting me ready for the game, telling me I could do this. They had trust in me that I could get them in the end zone and win the game, so it was really just the whole team.
And Elijah, why do you think the defense has struggled week after week? Is there something that you guys feel like you should have been better prepared for today?
We're not finishing. We're not getting no blocks. We're not finishing tackles. Just the little things, the main components of football that we're not accomplishing.
Just ask Elijah a little bit about the pass defense. Say, what was your thought that you're doing at some points 5 defensive backs in the game and trying to keep a pass rush? Coach Monken was talking about that balance between pass rush and being able to play back to stop a big play.
They throw the ball a lot, so we needed more DBs in the game. And we were running schemes to get the pass rush, but we weren't able to get enough pressure on the quarterback or break up enough passes.
And just ask Christian, how did it feel you went in? You've been in a game before this year and played well. How did it feel when it went in and then you were able to generate some yardage for your team, 2 touchdowns?
It felt good. I just wanted to try to do my best to keep the offense on schedule, just stay within ourselves, getting yards on the ground. I think I definitely could have played a little bit better, had better ball security. So we'll see that tomorrow. Just make sure we get back to it tomorrow, get ready for Air Force.
Matt?
Christian, for you, during this game, it seemed like there were a lot of plays that you were sort of improvising or making up on the fly. Did you feel comfortable in the pocket, with the offensive line in front of you? Was there something that San Jose was doing to really get the pressure on you?
I think they did a good job sending different types of pressures at us, kind of confusing the O-line a little bit. But I definitely felt comfortable in the pocket. I just sometimes just try to make plays whenever I could.
This question is for Elijah. One of the strengths for you guys as a defense was even when they were able to get into the red zone, you guys were able to match up well with them and make some big stops that, for them led to some field goals. What was working for you guys when it came down to that red zone defense?
We were winning our one-on-one matchups.
This question is just either for Cole or Elijah. Obviously there's a big difference in the way you guys played and between the first and the second half. Was there anything in particular as a team you guys were addressing at halftime to get yourselves, trying to get back into it in the second half and play better?
Just having a sense of urgency to win the football game, and I think no one lost that in the beginning, but like Elijah said, we have to play football well to win the game, and that's been the mantra. You have to do your job to the best of your ability. If you don't do your job to the best of your ability, we're going to have a hard time winning. So that's what it takes to win. You got to do your job.
Questions? Ken?
Cole, just going to ask you about after Army scored on Sandin's run, a nice drive, you had some momentum back, but then why was it difficult to stop the San Jose scoring drive early in the fourth quarter?
It's same reason, I guess. Every other time they scored, they break a couple big plays. We're trying to get settled in. And then it just comes down to winning the one-on-one matchups, and on that drive we didn't.
Just going to ask you, next week's your big rivalry game against Air Force. how will you and Elijah captains kind of address getting the team set to play your big rival in Colorado?
I think just acknowledging how important this game is to our community and to us, and it's a whole different football game. The physicality of it, like the type of defense you play against it, it's a whole different vibe. And not that we have taken any other game lightly, but this game takes a different mentality to come out on top, and we want that trophy to stay here more than anything. And that's what we're going to communicate to the team, that that trophy's not leaving here. We don't want it to leave here.
Well, it sure isn't any fun to come in here and talk about a disappointing loss. Credit to San Jose. They did a good job, and they scored about every time they had it. They had to punt once, and the fourth down there at the very end of the game, I think, were the only drives we didn't stop them. And then offensively, fumbled the ball there in the first half. Really was a killer. They had just gone up 10-7, and we threw the pass out there in the flat, and they just took it away from us, and they went down and scored another touchdown. We answered with a long drive, but only got a field goal out of it, and would have been nice to have gotten a touchdown. We kick off. They have a long kick return. Very poor job of covering the kick. And then we get a 15-yard penalty tacked onto it, and they get 3 more before halftime. And still had it at 2 scores, and did a nice job in the second half of coming out and getting a drive the very first possession and scoring and making it a 1-possession game. And then again, we couldn't stop them. They went back down and scored, and that was, it just seemed like we were playing catch up the whole day. And I take that back. I guess we did make them punt there. That was in the second half, for the third quarter, second half, and then we had to punt ourselves. So made it a 1-score game, and then couldn't capitalize the next go around. So anyway, I'm very disappointed that we lost, and clearly there's a lot of things we got to do better, and I got to do better, and everybody in the organization's got to do better. So we got to strive to do that. This is coming up, an awfully big game. It's a season within a season when you play for these CIC games. So we're gonna have to make some vast improvements here in the next few days to get ready to go out to the West.
Coach, you were talking a little bit about the difference between the first half and the second half of play. Was there anything in particular that you were addressing at halftime to get them back, or like 1 or 2 things, or was it just a little bit of everything after that first half?
I mean, we didn't stop them one drive, Matt. We got to get them off the field. We didn't get them off the field. Every time they had it, they were coming away with points. It's not a very good formula for winning a football game. Offensively, we didn't capitalize. We had the fumble, which set them up for another scoring opportunity, which is disappointing. The ensuing drive, we took all the way down the field, then had to settle for a field goal. So we weren't maximizing our opportunities. When we got it, we needed to score. That's the way the game was going. They were scoring every time. We were going to need to score every time. And we just talked about the things we needed to do from a assignment and fundamental standpoint to try to help our guys. A few things situationally that, hey, we're going to do this or try this on this particular or in this particular situation, and talk to them about those things like we do every halftime, and try to get them prepared to play a better second half. So that was really the conversation.
How did you feel your offense was adjusting when it came to, obviously having to switch out the quarterback several times? Early on in the game, you were going back and forth between Laws, and then with those injuries, you had to eventually go with Anderson. How do you feel like the offense adjusted?
I mean, I don't know if there was an adjustment we needed to make. We didn't stop running the offense, and everybody that we've got in our program that's a quarterback, they're going to run our offense. So he hasn't had as many reps in practice, and certainly not in the game like those other guys have, but he's the number 3 guy, so he's not going to have as many. Neither is the third string right tackle or the third string middle linebacker. But I thought he did a good job and went in there and tried to make some plays, and we needed to help him more, the other 10 guys and all of us.
Coach, you mentioned closing out the first half where you closed the gap 20-10 on Talley's field goal, but on the ensuing kickoff, they made a nice return, penalty on top of that, and then it went down to hit 3 points or kick 3 points. Was that somewhat of a deflator going into the locker room?
Yeah, I mean, that anytime you score like that, you feel like you're fighting back a little bit and taking back some of that lead they had. It was disappointing for those guys to get those 3 points, but it was a 2-score game at 10 points. It was still a 2-score game at 13 points. It wasn't. Had we given up a touchdown, it would have been a heck of a lot more critical, I think. But it's still a 2-score game, and we answered after the half and scored. We were down by 6, and then we got the ball. That's when they punted. We stopped them. If we go down and score and get 7 points, then we're up by 1. And I think the heat starts to be on them. But we never got there. We ended up having to punt ourselves. And after they did, so yeah, I mean it's disappointing to have that happen, but and it's not acceptable. We got to do a better job covering a kick, and certainly not be undisciplined and hit a guy out of bounds, which we did. So.
And just looking at the end-of-game stats, with the exception of the 4 fumbles, offensively, this looks like an Army team that will come out with the win. What do you think the difference was today?
We weren't scoring. We didn't finish drives and score. When you turn the ball over and the other team doesn't, your chances of winning go way down if it's just one turnover. And we needed to not turn the ball over there on that drive and keep it going down there and score, and try to create a turnover where we get it away from them. They made some phenomenal plays. A touchdown down there where we had the pass interference and the kid caught it on his knees. And that was a great play. But they also had a tight end run wide open and we didn't cover right down the middle of the field. So it's the fundamental things that the assignments and some of those things. That's what's disappointing.
Coach, after the Georgia State game, you said that you thought your team had improved a bit after the past 2 weeks. Do you feel like this week your team took a step back, or did you see some improvement there?
Certainly, by the way the game came out, yeah, it's anytime you lose a step backwards. I don't know that the last week losing to Georgia State was a step forward. I just thought we played better, played more like ourselves. I'm at a loss to tell you, just to evaluate overall where I think our team is. We had some really good drives, long drives on offense, and scored, and we had some foolish, silly mistakes that we could control that cost us. We had the costly turnover, and we weren't running the fullback in there as well as I'd hoped we would, and would like to have done that better. Defensively, we couldn't get them off the field, and I don't know that it's a lack of playing hard effort, but some of it was assignment, poor communication. A couple crossing routes where we should have had a guy on him, and either by communication or a guy just, not following his assignment as well as he should. And let me tell you, it's not easy, because you go in there with a call, and they can line up any way they want, and it's an open playbook. And you got to run fit, and you got to pass responsibility. And if one receiver goes out and the other one comes in, it changes the guy that you got to pick up. It's not just, hey, stand here in this spot and they're going to run to you and you can intercept it. It's not that easy. But we still have got to do our job, and we didn't do that as well as we needed to. So I did feel like a week ago we played better, and I thought we practiced really well this week. So I can't tell you. I wish I had the answers, but I don't right now.
And Coach, during the week we talked about their quarterback, Josh Love had a big day today, about whether it was getting a pass rush or playing back on defense, 5 defensive backs at times. What was a real challenge? He certainly had a quick release getting rid of the ball.
He got rid of it quick, and we watched that on film. We knew that he was good at doing that, and we didn't sack him one time. He got rid of the ball, and unfortunately, he's getting rid of the ball, and they got guys open, and 2 open. So he's a good player. He's the best thrower that we faced this year so far.
And 2 quarterbacks got hurt in the game. Kelvin, after playing well in the first half, and Jabari. How do you feel about them? Also, Peyton Reeder was down. I know went back in the game.
Well, we'll assess that as they get through the training room this afternoon, and our trainers will get a chance to look at them and just see what their health is. So obviously, all 3 of those guys are, 2 of them are starters, and Jabari, we've been really pleased with the way he's practiced, and we wanted to get him involved, and so we'd like to have those guys healthy, but we'll see.
Coach, watching their kicker, Mercurio, I just kept thinking of Paul Brown and his emphasis on the kicking game. Mercurio came in here with 6 straight kicks and was getting Mountain West Conference honors for his performance against New Mexico. How do you contain, how do you diffuse whatever that guy does so your team is unaffected by his performance?
Try not to let him get in position to kick field goals, I think, would probably be the very best way to do that. He's a good kicker and made all of his kicks today against us, and they were all pretty makeable kicks. We didn't make him kick it from 50 yards or anything like that. So they do a good job protecting, and they got a good kicker. It's those are pretty high percentage kicks he had. So we got to keep him from getting down to that end. That's the best thing we can do.
Coach, it's always said that injuries are part of the game, and you guys have had your share of them. At some point, do you just look around and just shake your head and going, what's going on with that?
I mean, we can cancel the season, but other than that, we've got to get some other guys ready and play them. And, Charles, it's, injuries they're not desirable for anybody. I'm disappointed that, we got some guys hurt that we normally count on, but we have no control over that. We could not practice and just say we had 2 guys starting the game against Georgia State that did not practice all week. They played against Western Kentucky, did not practice all week, and then started in the game against Georgia State. And because we think they give us the best chance to win. And it's not a very good formula, but at least they were able to play in the game. And it's a challenge. It's a challenge when you don't have guys practicing that you feel like are the best players, the ones that give you the best chance to win. So you try to nurse them back to health through the week. And some of those guys have been practicing on Thursday and Thursday only, and then playing in the game, and it's a terrible formula. But our other guys, the guys that have taken their place, have worked really, really hard, and they're out there trying and doing the best they can, and they made a lot of plays, and so they've had to. They've been in the game, so we just got to continue to get our players, our team ready, so that no matter what happens, the next guy in can step up and do the job.
Couple more, Ken.
Coach, just going to ask about next week. You go out to Air Force, a big rivalry game. You shut them out the last time you were out there, but that's 2 years ago. They just went out and won at Hawaii, which I thought was a good win. How do you get the team prepared, get the leadership of the team in the right position to play your best?
Well, that's my job, is to try to get those guys to be ready and to be ready to play their best. And these academy games are very high intensity games. Our guys are feeling pretty crappy right now after losing today and losing 4 in a row. We haven't done that since 2015, and really, besides 3 of our fifth-year senior guys that are with us still from that team, they're the only 3 guys on the team that experienced anything like this. And I can assure you, they're not having any fun, and they don't have the answers on here's how you fix it. You fix it by doing your job and doing it really well. That's how you do it, with 11 guys doing it at the same time. It's not complicated. It's just hard to do. And so we got to get our guys to do it. It's my job to have the team ready and prepared, and we're going to keep searching and keep working. That's for sure.
Last one, Justin.
And Coach, I know going into that Tulane game, you probably never suspected you'd be at this point after those 4 games. What's been the hardest part for you just through this 4-game stretch?
For me personally?
Yeah.
Hard to see those players who've invested so much and put all the work in, not being able to celebrate success and be able to win. And that's why we as coaches do what we do. We're trying to help these guys have a great experience and to help them win and to serve our team. And so, when I, like them, have invested a lot of time in trying to help and prepare them, I want to see them. I want to see them celebrate and win. So, they get one experience playing college football. I'd love for it to be a great winning experience, and so it's disappointing for me to see that, and it's hard. But we're all competitors, and I don't like to lose either.